Hello, everybody, and welcome to this interesting episode of Rewatch. I am Cybertruck enjoyer Nick, and joining me, as always, is internal combustion engine enthusiast Jared from Comics League. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Before we get into this episode, I kind of have a bit of a sad announcement to make. This will be the last pre-recorded episode of Rewatch. We'll be doing a live stream for the Apprentice Part 1 and 2 as is tradition. But sadly, the views really haven't been up to what I was hoping for. Just to be blunt. You guys have shown up. I appreciate the people who do show up for this, but it's just the time to do this content is not worth the few people who do decide to show up. So Rewatch is being canceled. There is currently no plans to fill the time slot, but Comics Watch will still continue. That show is actually doing pretty well, and I thank you for that. And so just wanted to say that. Jared, what are your thoughts on the matter?
I mean, it happens. There have been times where I had to stop a regular show because it didn't perform up to par. Because what people don't realize that when you're doing YouTube content, you do have to monitor if content starts to consistently downtrend. Because if it does that, no matter if you have really good numbers on other stuff, that can affect your standing in the algorithm.
Indeed, and I figured since we're so deep into the series, we kind of owe people an explanation on this.
Mm-hmm.
So, going into this episode, I as I was just saying, so I guess you could say Cyborg built the Cybertruck.
Kind of. By the way, fun fact: I had the toy for this. There was a toy that came out for his truck that could transform into a vehicle that has a turret on top, a big cannon in the front. So yes,
you owned a Cybertruck truck toy.
Yeah, I essentially owned a Cybertruck toy. Yes, exactly.
So this is a Cyborg episode, and dare I say, this might be the first Cyborg-focused episode we've gotten so far.
I think so.
This is primarily a Cyborg and Raven episode, I would say. And yeah, we get a lot of So yeah, it starts out, Cyborg's working on his car, he gets it just right, and then he unveils it. So Jared, how much are you into cars? Just kind of curious.
I mean, I play car games, if that counts.
All right.
Well, I watch Fast and the Furious movies, so I'm pretty much an expert on cars.
Oh my
god. I'm a Transformers fan. Does that count?
Oh god.
Well, that's just prime.
So yeah, I consider myself a bit of a car buff. Not really as much as some other big people, but I do love cars. I admire them. So I come at this from this perspective. So he shows off the car. I love where do you want to go? And it's all the different personalities. And I gotta say, I do love Starfire's personality, but I'm kind of starting to feel if I actually knew her in real life, I don't know if I could stand her.
Ooh. Interesting.
Because there's kind of a threshold where someone is so bubbly and saccharine and sweet that it just kind of becomes a bit much.
So you're saying Nightfire is not necessarily the best ship. Interesting.
I'm speaking personally. I'm not talking about from Dick Grayson and Starfire. They're perfect for each other. I'm just saying Phoenix Fire.
Well, there are no Superman and Wonder Woman, that's for sure.
I'm just saying Phoenix Fire is not a ship that'll probably happen.
Yeah.
And yes, I just made up a ship.
I can't see it.
Of Nick Phoenix and Starfire. That's
yeah.
Oh, please God, do not let this be a thing.
Okay, now it's definitely going to be a thing. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
And of course, like all the last laid plans of Mice and Men, his car gets stolen.
And that's where I had a problem with this episode, because I'm like,
okay,
why are they able to steal Cyborg's car when he even locks the doors? He wouldn't design a security system.
Well, just because you lock the doors doesn't mean.
Well, yeah, but even Batman has that where the door is locked, but he's got like a shock system. So if you touch it, you get shocked. He doesn't have anything.
Like I can understand Gizmo being able to steal the car.
Gizmo,
like,
yeah, but some street toughs. I'm like, no.
I do love how they're designed like 50s greasers. That was kind of a nice little touch.
Yeah, they're designed great, but again, that whole thing just doesn't add up.
Yeah, I don't really have too much of a defense for that, so I will give you 1 point, sir.
Thank you.
And then when Cyborg's freaking out, Raven kind of says something that, I'm sorry, please never say this in any context. Raven says it's just a car. Jared, let me kind of put something for you. They're just comic books. They're just
fictional
statues.
characters.
They're just figures. No, they're like literally. Let's say all those comic books are destroyed, either from like a hurricane or a fire, or someone comes in and steals all of them, and someone says they're just comics.
Yeah, I can see where you're going there. Kind of.
What if somebody comes in and what if somebody comes in? What if a mysteriously good-looking ginger comes in while you're not looking?
I got it. The other thing that's kind of interesting. The other thing that's here's the difference, though. Here's why it's worse for Victor. He built that car with his own robotic two hands.
And here's the other thing: those comics behind you. You built that collection. You put a lot of emotional effort into it. Okay, and so the worst thing you can say to somebody who takes pride in either building something, creating something, or building a collection is to say it's just X, because it's honestly a very demeaning and very patronizing. Okay,
Lois Lane is just a crappy character.
That's a little bit different. Also, it's objective fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I felt for Cyborg a lot in this episode, and so they're trying to investigate, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna go look for my car." Which, honestly, bro, I don't blame you. I do not blame you. And I love how it's like he's trying to track them down. Like, there's a lot of 50s iconography in this episode. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, he goes to a car hop.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of like the whole street racer theme. This is basically Fast and the Furious. You could say Cyborg's like Dom.
So it's all about family.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that's kind of interesting is like where the car becomes self-aware and becomes overload for my problem with that as well.
Whoa, buddy, we're a little bit that's a little bit further along in the episode.
Okay, but again, they should have just had Gizmo take over the car, because it's just, why?
I mean, it makes sense because you had the villain at the beginning of the episode and they showed him at the end. It's a nice bookend.
No, I mean, instead of the random teenager stealing the car. It just doesn't line up with Cyborg's character, actually, because there's no way if he puts this much effort into something, there's no way he wouldn't have a security system.
I don't know. I just feel like it would make like having Gizmo just randomly walk up to the car makes a lot less sense than like he's adventuring around and he sees the car. Like, it just, I don't know, it makes more of a story sense for it to happen off screen, in my opinion.
No, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying the random two street toughs that are somehow able to steal the car while Cyborg is dealing with the threat. I'm like,
I get that. We've established the illogical nature of it. I get that. We've established that, and I agree with you. It doesn't really, but yeah, I love bringing Gizmo into this episode was perfect. I think it's a great rival for Cyborg. And I love you'll get ketchup on the car. Like, it's just.
I also liked how he's basically a transformer. He turns from an RC car into Gizmo. More car iconography.
And I gotta say, the episode really does pick up when Raven comes back, where he says, "Oh, we stopped the villain, and then we started looking." Like that, it's a bit of an off-screen thing, but I do love that because it puts the Titans in a lot better light. It shows like, yeah, they took care of the villain, but then they looked for it, they showed they cared. And then also, I really liked Raven, a person who said, it's just a car, looks at, like, starts to, like, go and help him. And we got some really good sequences, like, where he, like, takes the Impala, like, car from them, from the street test, like.
I also like where now Raven starts to empathize with Cyborg, saying when I like control something with my mind, I essentially put a little bit of myself into that object.
Yeah, like, I mean, her whole thing is empathy, so I don't totally I can totally see how like she would get to that conclusion, and I liked it. Yeah, Raven is a character where you really think she's kind of like static, but Raven is like an onion. He has layers.
There's so many layers. There's so many layers, donkey.
Yes. I will say, like, the fact that they're on the same road as the prison transport is a bit contrived, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I do like the whole, like, floating the car, getting the car back thing. But I do kind of like the Faustian bargain where it's like, in order to stop me, you have to destroy the car. Like, that was a good kind of choice. And
well, plus at least he could still build a new car, which he does.
Which, by the way, he does with the help of Raven. And I also love at the end we get a smile from Raven, which is so rare.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I like that Raven was the one to help him build the car, and she learned all about that stuff. Like, that was really cool. So, Jared, what factoids you got for us?
Well, Cyborg talked about Metropolis, which is the city in which a very a D-lister unknown character, you may have heard of him, named Superman, operates in.
I thought that's where Livewire lived.
Yeah, exactly. The real hero of Metropolis. When Cyborg quips, "Yo, Radiohead, listen to this." This is a possible reference to the English band Radiohead.
So what he's saying is he's saying he's a creep?
This is one of the few times in the series where Raven makes a big smile. There is that. This is the last episode to air in 2003.
Oh, so we got more than one end of an era here.
Exactly. The episode aired on a Tuesday as part of Cartoon Network's November premieres block, where a new episode of a show would premiere on a random weekday throughout the month. Interesting.
An interesting promo, I guess.
And when the T car had the flames painted on it, it looks like Wayne's car from the movie Wayne's World.
Interesting. So, Jared, what would you rate this episode?
7 out of 10, because, again, the car, the random criminals being able to steal Cyborg's car takes it down. And then, yeah, the convenience of they just happen to be down a road and then there is a prison transport. I'm like, yeah, there's too many conveniences or inexplicable plots. So 7 out of 10.
Yeah. So for me, I give this an 8.5 out of 10. I mean, those illogical stuff doesn't really matter as much to me, but I get what Jared is saying. So yeah. So that was this episode. We will be doing a live stream next week on Monday. Right now, the tentative time is Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. That may change. Just you're putting a little bit of leverage there. I'm sure Jared appreciates it. But if you do not catch the live stream, and this is the I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us on this journey. It was great watching Avatar. Jared was enjoying it up until we got to season 3. And Jared, have you been enjoying the season?
This season, yes. Way more than whatever the hell Avatar season 3 was.
Well, I'm just glad next week we're ending things on a high note, at least. Like, if we had ended with Avatar, I would have been a bit unsatisfied because you did not like season 3. You love seasons 1 and 2. I think you can even admit
which is sad. That's the thing. And Nick told me, he's like, man, you were so into it until in seasons 1 and 2, and I was. And then season 3 started, and I was on board, but then it took too long to get to the damn point.
Yeah, and that was disappointing. But hey, you've been enjoying Teen Titans, so at least we're kind of ending things on a good, happy note. And the Phoenix Press, like the Phoenix itself, we will come back anew. I don't know if we're going to do another rewatch thing. I don't know if anything's going to do the Monday slot. But just know we have other content. We have Comics Watch on Wednesday. We got my Tuesday live stream, Friday Night Frenzy, Saturday Gaming. So plenty more comment. Also, check out Torn Samurai, now on Indiegogo. So this has been Nick and Jared from the Phoenix Press. And remember,